Ambrosia Cosmetic Surgery in Hyderabad. www.ambrosiaclinic.com.
Rotate your device. Am I live? Hi friends. Good evening. So, I'm back again with another live. Hope you're all having a good weekend and this is a convenient time to join for the live. Today we are going to talk about winter. Winter is here and it's a very good weather, but also it brings with it some type of skin problems, hair issues, and whatever creams and treatments or face washes we are using during summer or during rainy season, sometimes the same things don't work and we continue to use the same thing, and then we don't feel that our cream is working. So today I have somebody with me. I'm going to introduce Dr. Monica now. Dr. Monica, please come. Dr. Monica is dermatologist. She's a part of Ambrosia Clinic and she's an expert in all the skin diseases. As you all know, I'm a plastic surgeon. She's a dermatologist. We have other doctors also working with us. And today some of the questions she's going to take and she's going to answer all the questions that we have. And yes, today we have a contest. Like we had it last time also, but this time also we are going to pick the best question and from a lottery, and then we are going to give a special surprise gift from Ambrosia Clinic to that best person who asked the lucky question. So Dr. Monica, please tell what are please share with people what new problems our patients are coming with these days and what is the winter related skin issues.
Right, ma'am. So especially in winter, one thing which everybody needs to take care about, irrespective of it is a sensitive skin, it is a dry skin, oily skin, is moisturize your skin well enough. It doesn't mean that if yours is an oily skin that you need to moisturize less. Anybody in winters has to moisturize, and according to your skin type. It doesn't have to be all the moisturizers will be suiting your face. There are some ingredients and even moisturizers which doesn't suit one type of skin type. So you need to know which moisturizer is best for you and use the moisturizer according to your skin type. And of course, even moisturizer means even applying oil for the body. Like any oil, it can be coconut oil, olive oil and shea butter, cocoa butter. All these things also will help in moisturizing your skin more better and generally having that hydrating effect on your skin. Yeah, and then there are few conditions, mostly dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis, or generally it's a very itchy and irritated skin which will aggravate in the winters, because the main cause for these certain disorders to become more or become start again in the winters is because of the dryness and because of the less moisture in the skin itself. So irrespective of you do have psoriasis or you do have eczema or any skin dermatitis which is related mostly when it is starting in the winters, or it has developed long back in the winters and you've not got it again, it doesn't mean that it's not going to come back. You are supposed to always moisturize your skin, and like generally you have no issue with your skin. It is just it just gets dried up in the winters. Glycerine is one which is best for any skin type. Before your bath, like half an hour before your bath will do good for anybody. You can just apply it all over your body, and maybe half an hour after your bath or 45 minutes after your bath, yes ma'am.
So Dr. Monica, can you just tell people what things they can use at home to wash their face during winters? Like people who are not even coming and seeing us, They are buying from some shops, some soaps, some creams, some face wash. So can you give general guidance what to wash their face with, what to wash their body with, or just how to take the best care during winters?
Right. So for any skin type, let it be an oily skin or a sensitive skin or a dry skin, it has to be always a face wash and not a soap. Soaps are not generally that suited to the face because they have a different sort of ingredients which are not there in the face washes. And face wash will always have aloe vera based, glycerine based. Even it is for an oily skin also, they will have these soothing agents which will, even from decreasing the oil, it will also help in maintaining the moisture within. So cleansers, any type of cleansers, but even cleansers, you'll have your cleansers according to your skin type. Even if it is just an hydrating cleanser, just see to it that your skin is taking the cleanser and then you're not getting your acne or your skin is not becoming more dry after you're using the cleansers. So I would say any face wash, but just see to it that it's for your skin type and not just pick it up from the counter.
But what I would say is that even the oily skin, people who have oily skin, they turn into dry skin in the winter.
Right.
So probably they can change the face wash where at the end result is they should not feel too much dryness in their skin. So
right now,
that's what I have observed, that people who have got oily skin, who have acne also, it's not compulsory to keep using those things during winter also. When you come to us, we see your skin and advise differently. Similarly, whatever you are using, even cosmetics, they may change according to the season and what is happening to your skin. And what about body? What soap you recommend to people during winters?
For the body, just see to it that the soap, it doesn't have to be once you pour water on, it shouldn't be something that it's washing off in a minute sort of thing. Generally soaps which are good for the skin, which will have these moisture, shea butter is one which will be there in the soaps, paraben free and all, what it will help is it's going to clog the pores there and let the moisture and all be in. One thing, even when you're using the soap for your bath, see to it that you don't have it with full hot water. It has to either be cold water, or if yours is a very sensitive body and you can't even bear the cold water, lukewarm water is fine, but never hot water, irrespective of any season. It's going to take away all the moisture from within and make your skin too dry.
So a lot of people in India, because of the excess sweating, we are using soaps like Synthol soaps or such soaps which are antibacterial, maybe Dettol soap, especially because they want to fight the underarm sweating. But in winters, it is always preferable to shift to some other milder soaps for the body, like Pears or Dove, whereas for the underarm, you can continue to use your other deodorant type of soap. That is my suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your idea about oiling the body, oil massage on the body before bath, or adding oil to the bath water?
I would say maybe oiling your body before like half an hour or 45 minutes before your bath. It's going to go well in, and even when you're having the bath immediately, like after half an hour or something, it's not that the oil is going to completely wash off from your body. It's going to go within, hydrate your skin and all. How much action it needs to do in that half an hour, 45 minutes, it's going to hydrate, moisturize within and lock the moisturizer. So rather than after bath, always using a moisturizer is better, and before bath, oiling your skin, oil massage, like generally what you prefer, that will be a better option before the bath.
How many times do you think people should wash their face during winters? Is it like people who are facing too much dryness, should they stop using face wash or soap altogether? What is that? What is the best thing for them to do?
So during this times, if you are at home and yours is generally a dry, sensitive skin, I would just say wash your face in the morning months. And if you're generally using any night serums or you have a night routine which you're following, then another time in the evening. But the quantity of how much face wash you'll be taking also will depend on how much it's going to dry your skin. So according to the face wash and the water, the ratio has to be always 1:2 or 1:3. The 3 ratio should be the waters. So if you're going to have your face wash like that, even if it's not suiting your skin and you're not knowing whether it's the face wash mistake or it's because of the winters and all, it's not going to make your skin too dry as it is. So twice should be fine. And if generally they're using a scrub that day for scrubbing their face, I would say just once face wash should be fine if you're using the scrub that day.
Yes. But at the same time, if somebody is going out and if they are using makeup, then it is very important to cleanse the face in the night before sleeping.
Right now.
So there are different type of cleansers people use. People use this makeup remover, which is good enough. If you use makeup remover, you don't want to use water or face or soap on the skin in the night because your skin is dry. Well and good. Some of the makeup removers are also very drying, so please avoid them. Use a baby oil also you can use for me. But only problem is people who have acne prone skin, they should not apply anything oily. Even if their skin is feeling dry, it's better not to use any oil. What I have seen, people are using essential oils on the face and some people are using bio oil on the face. I would not recommend any oil on the face, please. You can apply those oils on the body. Yes, to keep the acne prone skin also, it is important to keep it moisturized and nourished. So we need to reduce the strength of the face wash during winter. We sometimes change it to hydrating type of face wash, like the face wash which is used for normal skin we can use during winters in case it's, and then we advise moisturizer. Now moisturizer is not same as oil. Oil is different, moisturizer is different. Moisturizer contains different type of ingredients, and those are special things which we can use for acne prone skin also. But oiling, please don't do on the face, body, it is okay. So Dr. Monica, what is your opinion about cracked lips which people suffer from during the winters?
Yes, ma'am. So cracked lips is something which will be there from the start of the winter and even sometimes even till summer because of the dehydration and all. Always moisturizing your lips, and when you're moisturizing your face, you can apply the moisturizer itself on the lips. And if suppose you're using a lip balm, see to it that you use a very mild creamy consistency lip balm and not the one with lip gloss and all, because it's just for superficial glowing of the lips but not moisturizing the lip. Any lip balm that has like the same ingredients I've told you, vitamin E oil, shea butter, cocoa butter, all these will help set the moisturizer in and not hydrate the lips further. And you can actually keep on applying them 1 hour or 2 hours once on a daily basis, especially in the winters.
Yeah, just to tell you, for those of you who want to know a name of a product, I can just say that you can use a set. If you have very dry skin, you can use a kind of face wash called facial cleanser called Cetaphil, which is very even suitable for babies. Even if your babies are having the same set, and you can also use that. And same way, Cetaphil moisturizer, which is commonly used for babies, you can use that on your face. So Dr. Sinduri, Dr. Monica, what is your opinion on the cracked feet which people develop during this winters?
Yes, ma'am. So first thing is you have to not, it's not that if you're going to soak your legs more in water, it doesn't mean that your cracked legs or that little bit of dryness which is there in the legs is going to become more. Sometimes what happens when you soak your feet too much in the water also, like generally you're having longer baths or generally you want to scrub your feet, so you're putting it more in water and all, it's going to make it too moist, and immediately after that we are supposed to apply a moisturizer, we are supposed to apply a foot cream, which is a specific sort of a cream which will have all these ingredients of aloe vera, vitamin E, jojoba esters and all this, which will help in the cracks to heal more smoother and soft, so that you will have a soft heel. But just you can follow it. Just if you even don't have a cracked feet and just you want to maintain it, not further damage or further dry your feet in winters especially, you can soak your feet for about 10-15 minutes weekly once, should be more than fine, and then just exfoliate it with a mild scrub your entire feet. Just take a pumice stone or just a loaf, a nylon loaf, and then you can scrub it for about 5 minutes, remove all the dead skin, and immediately seal it off with a thick moisturizing cream is what I would suggest for the feet. And then if suppose it's in the night, you do it in the evening, I would just suggest wear a socks on top of it so that it will be sealed and the moisturizer will act nicely throughout the night.
So what happens is in cracked feet, if you compare a baby's feet with cracked feet, there is an excess dead skin. So when you go to salon for pedicure, they remove all that dead skin. and then what happens is it is still getting accumulated. So we have special type of foot creams which have got those ingredients like there is urea, lactic acid and such things which will soften this dry skin, especially made for this purpose. They are not the ordinary like cream, like a moisturizer. They are different from that. They are specially made to dissolve this dry skin, and if you have severe problem with the dry skin of the feet, then do see us. We are going to advise a different kind of treatment for your flat feet. And what about the hair issue?
Like just how the skin gets dry, the hair also does get dry, generally on the scalp as such, and even the hair as such. So what you need to do, there are specific lotions. It doesn't have these active ingredient sort of lotions, just serums, just extracts, plant and fruit based extracts, which will especially help in retaining the moisture onto the scalp. So we have to use them irrespective of, it doesn't mean that if you just have hair fall or hair loss, you are supposed to use the serums. Just to maintain your scalp, like how you maintain your skin, you should use the serums for the hair as well. And oil your hair regularly. Even if it's in very oily skin, still you are supposed to oil your hair, like, but not more than 1 to 2 hours before your hair wash. Generally I see people, oil it for 2 days and then leave it on. But the action of the oil will take place only for about 1 hour, 2 hours to go to the roots and then seal the healthy hair in. But what if you leave it for longer time, like even sometimes overnight also for such for few scalps, it's going to get the dust and get the bacteria and all to stay on the scalp. And when you have hair wash, you will be more concerned about removing the oil than giving a good rough massage to your scalp. So what happens, you won't go too deep the penetration doesn't go too deep, and it's just going to act as a barrier if you're going to leave it for a longer time.
Yeah, do we have any questions? Can you get them questions, please? Yes. Keep giving the questions. We'll take the questions and we will be done. So, we have a question which says keloid in the chest. Okay, listen. Please write the question behind it. We can close it like this. Okay. So, keloid in the chest, any reasons and treatments? Okay, we'll take a short break from this, what we are discussing, and we'll continue. So, this is a question on keloid in the chest, any reasons and treatment. Keloid in the chest, it's a problem which happens right here in the center, in this bone, and it is a swelling which sometimes causes itching, and it keeps growing on its own, and sometimes people don't know why it has come, but sometimes it is after any surgery or after any pimple, but a lot of people don't know how it came, why it came. So for this, the treatment is we have to give injections into the keloid. There are different types of injection. In Ambrosia Clinic we give special type of injections which give very good result. Do not worry if you have taken injection somewhere else also. And then we have treatments like cryo, and we have laser also, but we have to see person to person. We cannot say this is the best treatment or that is the best treatment. For chest keloids, we usually do not do surgery because it's not recommended for chest keloids, and injection treatment is the best. So Dr. Monica, what is your opinion about the oiling the hair if people already have dandruff and they are feeling that their scalp is really dry?
So for them, I would have said just half an hour before your hair wash. Just you need to oil your hair. One thing is because so that the oil. So always use the oil which is coconut oil, or olive oil and almond oil also do help in hair strengthening. But always heat the oil. Like it has to go to a warm temperature. You can just say maybe put it on the stove and just on it for about 5-10 seconds, and that little bit of warmth which is there in the oil will help in a deeper penetration of the oil into the hair roots and strengthen them and make them not fall very rigorously like how they do. After that, you can just wait for about half an hour. It's a very oily scalp. You can still oil them, but just half an hour before your hair wash, and then just wash it off with always cold water or lukewarm water, especially in the winters. Don't at all, irrespective of the season, use hot water for your hair. because it's going to remove off all the moisture, all the health from the hair, and then make it frizzy. It's going to be spiky hair, and it's not going to stay within, it's going to be static sort of hair. So just
I think that application of the good, all of you should use conditioner in the hair, irrespective of if you use oil or don't use oil. Conditioner is very good in the winter, so to prevent the static thing, and please do use conditioner. And if your hair is feeling especially dry, you can go to salon and do some conditioning treatments, no problem with those. What I also say that people who have dandruff, that is a condition called seborrhea, so they should not actually indiscriminately apply oil. Probably they should consult a doctor, and I would say that they should keep their scalp especially oil free, and for people who have normal scalp, they can apply oil without any hesitation and wash their hair. But do you think it is recommended for people who have dandruff to apply oil in the hair?
not dandruff, ma'am. If suppose it's just an oily scalp, then of course you should apply like maybe half an hour, so that just to strengthen the hair,
but
not
what
for
about
anything.
people? A lot of people are suffering from dandruff, especially it increases during winters,
Right,
and they are under the impression that it is because of dryness, so they keep applying more oil to control the dandruff. What is your advice for such people?
So again, many of you will be getting confused between a dry scalp and a dandruff scalp. So both are completely different. Even though for few, even if it's dandruff, it's just going to look like white powder. Even if it's a dry scalp, it will still look like a white powder. So you need to discriminate first, consult and see what actually you have. Is it just a dry scalp, or is it seborrhea, the oily scalp? So for them, of course, anybody suffering with dandruff, you shouldn't apply an oil. And the shampoo also, it will be completely medicated shampoos, which will help in first decreasing the dandruff, and then you can go back to the general shampoo which you're using. But if you're just picking up a shampoo and just generally because it has suited your hair quite well, if you have dandruff and if you're just using that shampoo, it may not do you that good in decreasing the dandruff as such.
Dr. Monica, we have this question: how to prevent milia? Can you suggest?
Sure. So milia are nothing but they're just small cysts because of occlusion. What happens you have these glands inside the skin. They'll produce that little bit of sebum and then that little bit of secretion, which will sometimes, because of the skin, because of the type of skin, it's going to clog them, and it will come out like a white head, like a white pimple.
Like white bubbles.
White bubbles.
Small bubbles.
White small bubbles.
And I think they are more common in summers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because
of
people
the
sweat a lot,
Right,
especially
right,
people who are going to gym and somehow their body skin is clogged. So
Right.
the sweat doesn't come out completely, and it forms a small
tiny,
rashes.
yeah, sometimes even like water bubbles, even like white and sometimes water bubbles. So for them, I would just suggest, there are no specific creams which will
Can they
decrease
use
them.
scrub?
Scrub will help a lot. Generally, if suppose you don't get them also, but generally in winters and summers, always exfoliating your skin will always help in preventing these milia.
Exfoliating with the help of any scrub,
Any
or
scrub.
move on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
body,
Right.
right?
Those will help a
Yeah.
lot.
And if you still have that, then you please come to us. We have special methods like microdermabrasion and chemical peels. But at home, you can definitely prevent by using any basin and rubbing or any other type of scrub, and taking more frequent bath also helps in summer especially. And what about any tip for hands to stop getting tan in the winter, Dr. Monica?
So of course, if your hands are getting tanned in the winter, that means yours is a very it has to be a type 4, type 5 skin, where especially in winters, if it's going to get tanned very fast, sunscreen is something irrespective of winter, rainy, summer, you are supposed to use it. It doesn't mean that winter the sun is going to be a little bit less, or it's not going to be that harsh like in the summers. It doesn't mean that it's not going to tan your skin. So you just use sunscreen, and then you can prevent more than 50% of the tan which is going to come immediately. And then of course, if you've already had tan and then you want to not increase it more, again the sunscreen will help a lot. Coming to the moisturizer, you should, even if it's a tan skin, you should moisturize especially in the night, because even when your skin is too dry, it's going to get wrinkled up, like it's going to become like a small tight taut skin and look more darker than what it is. So even for the body, even for the exposed parts, not just sunscreen in the morning and afternoon, but even a moisturizer in the night also will help it.
And you know, we have, if you have any urgency, then you have to come and do some treatments in the clinic. Like if you have a lot of back tan, you need to come and do something, then you can maintain it better. And then there's one more question: how to prevent dandruff in the winter?
Right. So in the winter, if suppose you've just developed dandruff, and then it just because the winter has started and you've developed this dandruff, maybe it may not, maybe I can say 50-60%, it may not be dandruff, it may be just dry skin becoming generally how the skin becomes dry on the body, that is how it becomes even dry on the scalp as well, the scalp skin. So it's going to become powdered up. You'll feel that, white powder falling on your shoulders or on your back and, on your face and all. So we first need to differentiate if it is dandruff or dry skin. And then accordingly, I would say if you've had dandruff and then you're trying to get it removed, get rid of it, I would just say please come and meet us so that, we'll know whether it is dandruff, and then accordingly we can give you some treatment. If it is a dry scalp, maybe the shampoo which you're using is not suiting your scalp as much, because if you're still having that dryness and that little bit of powdery stuff, that means either the shampoo which you're using is not suiting you quite well, or you're overusing the shampoo where it's not required and you're using it a lot, for you feel that it's too dirty, your scalp is too dirty and you're overusing it. Even that will help that will leave that product build up onto the scalp and make it too powdery. So that you should avoid.
There's one more question from Sohail. I'm suffering from back acne and I don't know what to do.
Okay, so if suppose it's there since long and you've used many treatments and then nothing is working, maybe the creams which you're using are not suiting for your skin quite well. Back acne generally even becomes more or aggravates if you have lots of dandruff on your scalp, because the dandruff falls, because it'll have this dirt, bacteria and that oily secretions onto the dandruff flakes. It will come onto your back, and because of that also that bacteria and dirt will stick onto the back and start production of this acne. So first just see to it that even your scalp is being treated. If you're taking treatment anywhere, see to it that your scalp is also being treated for your back acne. It's just not acne. And if you have tried many things and there's no such improvement, please I would request you to come down and meet us, because even acne, irrespective of where we have it, will depend again on your skin type. We can recommend the products once we see how your skin is, whether the acne, again there will be different types of acne. According to that we should give you treatment.
Basically, people face this problem that they are not able to apply. First of all, they are not able to clean the back properly, like how we clean our face or body. Then second thing is to apply the lotions and all those is really difficult. So if sometimes problem goes out of hand, or sometimes there are scars, so in such scenarios, if we prescribe you creams to apply, it will really be difficult to. So what I suggest, sometimes it's better to do some chemical peels or something, come to clinic once in a month, do it, so that at least we know you are getting the treatment rather than depending on yourself to apply creams. And also, if you are getting acne, we need to assess you, because back acne and such things, we may need to give you oral medications.
Right.
So that because we want to see how severe back acne comes for people who have got lot of severe acne. So for that, sometimes creams and treatments alone won't help, and we will need to give you tablets as well. So I think you should just visit a dermatologist, or if you are close by, please visit us. And I'll take this question. There's Maggis is asking, please suggest products to get smooth and poreless skin. Alright. See, if the answer would depend, I assume you are a young lady or young man. So, smooth and poreless skin, please suggest products. Okay. I will suggest you use a good face wash according to your skin type. If you have large pores, I can think maybe you have oily skin. So I do not know how you're feeling right now, but please don't use soap and all those things. Use a face wash. which is good for your oiliness. But at this point of time, if in winter your skin is dry, you can use the face wash for normal skin. Then I suggest there are some, we prescribe some kind of pads, you know, they contain salicylic acid, and so they are also available over the counter sometimes. So they're just cleansing pads. They will reduce the size of pores, but the difference between what is available outside in the stores and what we give is our products are a bit stronger. So those wipes, they have they're very good. They clean the skin, they remove the oil, and we advise those to be used twice a day. I think they're very good. And then you can use a sunscreen and a moisturizer. This thing will keep your skin smooth and poreless. And if any acne and such things starts coming, then you will have to consult the doctor. Now, Mad Max is asking so many questions. Usually once in a week, I dip my face in ice water. So will that be fine in the winter?
Ice is actually good because it's going to, you know, hydrate your skin and even close up the pores, the open pores generally. But dipping it in ice water, I wouldn't say. Maybe
I hope you are not choking in the ice water. I mean, you can take an ice cube and rub on your face rather than dipping your. I'm imagining that you are filling a bucket full of ice and putting your hand inside the bucket and counting to 10. Are you doing something like that? Please don't do that. Take ice and rub it on your skin.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It will help you. But I say that water has a drying effect on the skin. So, you know, people who will keep licking their lips and then trying to moisturize them like that doesn't work. Similarly, even if you just put water or ice on your face 10 times a day, your skin will become totally dry. So try to avoid overdoing it. Once in a week is fine. How to prevent dandruff and it's affecting skin too? This is a question from Bhavna. How to prevent dandruff and it's affecting her skin too?
Okay.
Yeah.
So first thing is, you know, how you are applying the oil. There are ways you apply the oil, that it's not that, you know, you take a lot of amount for just, if suppose you have a very thin hair, like generally thin hair, and you apply too much of an oil, overuse of the oil will also excessive that, you know, make it like a barrier of the follicles and then get the dirt, bacteria and all. That is how the dandruff will develop. And if generally yours is a very oily scalp and you don't apply oil for your scalp as such, and then you get dandruff back to back, I would suggest you just come and then you just visit and then, you know, take a anti-dandruff shampoo, which will help in, I think, 1-2 months you'll have a very good clear scalp, and then onwards you can, you know, maintain it by not excessive using of oil or excessive using of shampoo, or not using a shampoo or a conditioner which doesn't suit your hair type. All that will help in decreasing the dandruff. But stopping from dandruff, we can do it, but if yours is an oily scalp, you should be a little bit prepared, especially if it is even a sweaty scalp. I would say if you sweat a lot, generally you do sweat a lot, and then even if it's not oily, because of the sweat and all, it's going to become greasy. If even your scalp is like that, you should change the products which you're using. You'll have these different kind of shampoos and conditioners specifically for oil and dandruff prone scalp. So that will help you a lot for maintenance and even for generally removing the dandruff as such.
One thing I want to tell, I feel that 95% of the cases of dandruff can be managed at home by washing hair every day. Now, sometimes some people, I think they don't wash their hair every day, thinking that it is harmful or to dry their hair. So it is important that if you wash your hair every day, then most of the times you will not get dandruff. So when you're washing also, you should focus on your scalp. You have to rub the scalp, and even if you're washing with any shampoo, it doesn't matter. Most of the time you will not get dandruff. But suppose you got dandruff even if you're washing your hair every day, then what you can do, you can go to market and buy some anti-dandruff shampoo, with that anti-dandruff shampoo, you can wash your hair every day. Soon the dandruff will be under control, and then you can reduce that anti-dandruff shampoo, use it once or twice a week, and remaining day you can use your own other nice shampoo, whichever. So if you are washing your hair every day, then it's better you use a type of shampoo which is not very drying. Sometimes if you have colored your hair, then you have to suit, you probably don't want to wash your hair every day. So this is the problem. Sometimes girls who have long hair, so let's say you're washing your hair twice a week or thrice a week. So if that is the case, then you may need to use all the time only anti-dandruff shampoo. Then you can't use this fancy shampoo or that fancy shampoo. If despite all this you are not getting relief, then it could be a case of fungal infection or something. Please come and see us. We will give you the proper advice regarding that. So how to get rid of strawberry legs? Does laser help? Ranjita Chaudhary.
Okay. So if you've been waxing your skin since long, or yours generally is a very sensitive skin that, you know, after waxing sometimes, even if suppose you've done the first time also, you'll get these small tiny pimples where the hair follicle is going. Sometimes they do become red because, you know, the hot wax is going to clog the pores there at the hair follicle, because even if it is waxing, shaving, none of these specifically waxing, shaving or threading is going to remove the hair follicle from the root. It's just the superficial hair follicle which is going to come out. So if you're getting these procedures done and then, you know, the hair has, it's something called as ingrown hair, where the hair is going to itself be blocked up there and it's not able to come out of the skin, like from where you have these tiny holes where the hair comes out from. If it's not able to come and the skin is grown there and there is ingrowth of that hair follicle, that is where you will see these strawberry, you know, small tiny papules sort of a thing, sort of pimples you can say, it will happen there. You can get rid of them, you know, maybe with creams. Laser will help if you're getting rid of if you want to get rid of these strawberry pimples or strawberry legs. Laser will help if you have good thick hair onto your legs or onto your hands anywhere. Because if the hair has not even come out of the skin and it's completely closed up on the skin, then even the laser is not going to help, because it won't be able to target the hair follicle within.
Yeah, so basically if strawberry legs, people who don't know, basically they have legs which have dots everywhere like strawberry has. That is because you have waxed your hair and then after that the skin grew on top of it and it has blocked those hairs from coming out. Now I think that if I see a lot of people, and when you wear the skirt and all, it doesn't look good. So first we need to unclog, so we have to do some kind of scrubbing or chemical peel, so everything gets unclogged and the hair comes out. So you need to scrub your legs daily at home so that this clogging doesn't happen. And second thing is, if you have tendency to form this type of issues, not everybody gets it after waxing, few people get it. If you have tendency to stop waxing, come for laser hair removal, because laser hair removal will stop this problem, whereas if you are developing this problem. Otherwise, if you are sad, you try to scrub it and the hair will come out. So take care of that, especially when you have done waxing. Keep scrubbing your legs so that the hair doesn't get blocked inside. Yeah, one more question. Any remedies for stretch marks? This is also a question by Ranjita Chaudhary. Very interesting question. It's a bit difficult problem. I will take this question. See, basically, stretch marks are happening. Earlier, I used to see them happen only in the pregnant women after pregnancy and all. Now we are seeing in teenagers also. A lot of people are coming. They have stretch marks on buttocks. Even those who are slim people. So I want to tell, stretch marks happen more commonly in people who are overweight or obese. So we need to keep our weight under check to prevent the stretch marks, and it happens during pregnancy. You know, we advise vitamin E and such type of creams to prevent, but sometimes we cannot prevent. It is not only because of stretch, but sometimes because of hormones which are in excess during teenage or during exercising, gymming, or when you are pregnant. So once they happen, when they are in very early stage, when they are red itself, please come to us. We can do some lasers to stop them from turning into white ones. Once they become totally white, very stretched, we do have lasers, we have microneedle, we can do so many things. But I want to tell you something. We do a lot of treatments and surgeries also, but this is a problem which doesn't have a very satisfactory solution once it is developed. So what I mean by not having satisfactory solution is this, that it is, you do a lot of treatment, you spend a lot of money, but sometimes the result is not up to the mark, only 50% is done. So my suggestion is that you have to detect it early, and if you can come early, then the laser will work better. Now there's one more question. If people are facing psoriasis problem, this is from Swati. If people are facing psoriasis problem more in winter, how to take care of it?
Yeah, so psoriasis is something that most of the cases, most of you will start to see the aggravation of the symptoms or the aggravation of the lesions once if it is in rainy season or in winter season, because of the atmosphere change, because of the weather change and all. So maintaining them, even if you have already got psoriasis and it has decreased now, always keep your skin moisturized. Always it has to be moisturized, irrespective of it is winter, summer. Sometimes there are few people who in summers also it does aggravate. So moisturizing your skin will help a lot, because psoriasis is something which will develop on a dry skin. It's going to make the superficial layers very powdery. It's going to remove the superficial layers of the skin. So when you keep it more moisturized, it's going to be intact, and when you have that compact superficial skin, the psoriasis development won't be there. You'll have maybe a little bit of an itching, or you'll see that little bit of dryness over the lesions, but they won't aggravate as such.
Okay. Now we have another question. How to remove pimple spot from face? It is from Swati. Try to tell her something which...
Procedure.
Actually, pimple spots on face are very common. You have to tell her how to prevent it, and what she can do at home, and then what we can do here if that doesn't solve the problem.
Okay, so of course if you're not using even till now, sunscreen is something you need to start right away. And then scrubbing your face also will help. You don't need to just scrub it on the spot, but generally scrubbing the skin, because when you have that little bit of tan, the tan over the pigmented spot also will become more. You won't feel that your entire face is tan, but the pigmented spot will look more darker. Whereas you can use little bit of an home remedies, like you can take papaya, you can take haldi, you can just make it a pack, and then you can apply it weekly once, just so that it doesn't have to be just on the spot. It has to be for the entire face. Whereas if you first would take the treatment when you have active acne, not make it more aggravate and not make it like big red pimples, that will be the one main prevention point where you won't even develop these acne spots.
And also I feel that this good thing is most of these acne spots will go away on its own if you are using sunscreen properly. But there's no harm in consulting a doctor. Try to prevent the acne, and if you have a spot which is not going away in 1 or 2 months, please do come and take care of it. Do not let it develop in more and more, because you are young, you should be beautiful, you should not have spots on your face, you don't have to live with it. So if I have a spot on my face, now I'm very older and I don't get acne anymore, but I would not like to see a spot on my face. So I would like to educate myself how to stop pimples, what to do when the spot comes, and that can happen if you are in touch with a dermatologist. And then one more thing is, there are some safe cosmetic products which you can apply, which also treat and also cover. So that is also good to use. Now one more question is, I have a question here. I want to know about splitting earlobes. Is there any non-surgical treatment? Okay, now I want to tell you, there is no non-surgical treatment for split ear lobules. Split ear lobules are like long holes in the ear. So so there may be few, some people say glue, but you cannot stick the skin with glue. But there is a treatment where we can we have to cut the skin there and then apply glue to stick it. Without cutting, simply sticking, it will not work. It's like putting Fevicol on your hand. How it will stick? It will just go away. So, but fortunately the surgery or whatever we do is very minor. It is totally painless. It's something that people do regularly. It's a common surgery. Come and get it done. Don't worry about it. So one more question is, how I can get rid of shoulder acne? Is it because of hair oiling?
That will be one of the reasons. If you are having acne on the shoulders, of course that will be just one of the reasons. It doesn't mean that if you have dandruff and if it's very mild and you're taking treatment for it, just because you've had dandruff, that is why you're having acne. Generally because of the sweat, because of especially if you see the shoulders, the upper arms and the upper back and all, it will always be closed irrespective of where if you're going out into the gym. Sweat,
Last two questions.
these areas are where the sweat is going to be there. It's not going to evaporate. There's no air going in. Because of that also you will develop, the pores will get clogged there and you will develop acne. Dandruff is one of the reasons. Oiling your scalp, the way you oil your scalp and increase that dandruff is one of the reasons. But another major reason is also because of the sweat. It will clog the pores and you will have acne because of that as well.
Now, Ghazal is asking, is laser safe in the winter? I'll take this question. Her question is specifically for laser toning and laser hair reduction. Good question, Ghazal. Laser toning is what we do for face to improve the imperfection, get the brightness with a specific laser. And then there is laser hair reduction, which is a different type of laser which we use to remove the hair from the face, from the legs and anywhere. I would say yes, both are very safe during winters as well, and when we do such lasers, we also advise you the skincare to go with these lasers in winter, in summer, according to that. But definitely it is safe. And one more question, my question, I like this question very much because it's about something that I do regularly. It is it safe for surgery in this COVID, like liposuction? Jyoti has asked this question. Yes, Jyoti. Yes, we have been taking special precautions for ourselves not to get COVID and the patients not to get COVID. Hospital is taking precautions. We were not doing surgeries at the time of when there was lockdown, and next 2 months we were watching, and then after the research came out and we are satisfied what precautions can prevent COVID, we have been doing surgeries, and touch wood, everything has been safe, and we are waiting for the good news for vaccine to come as well. Any other questions? We have this last question. For chin augmentation, Jyoti again. For chin augmentation, what is better, chin implant or filler? Which is best and what do you recommend, ma'am? Okay, chin is very, when you see the side view, sometimes chin is small and it doesn't look good. So we need to bring it out, whether it's for male or for female. Once we improve the chin size, it makes the face look longer, it makes the big lips look smaller, and it gives a good V shape to the face in females. And if men want square jaw, they can get that. It's a very good procedure to enhance the chin. So we can do it with fillers or we can do it with surgery. With fillers, we inject injections that is painless, instant result, and the result lasts for 2 years. The result is good with fillers are safe. The second option, or a even better option, is surgery, where you make a cut right here, very small. We do under local anesthesia, and we can put implant here. You have to take rest at home for 1 week, 10 days for this. Both are equally good, but the only difference is chin implant is permanent and it gives long-lasting result, whereas filler gives the result which will last for 2 years. That is the difference. So you can choose any procedure, and in my hands they both give the same result. Now it's the favorite part of the live. We have to now choose the lucky winner of the lucky question. Can I have all the questions so we can pick the lucky question? Okay, all of you, if there's any topic of your interest that you would like us to discuss, like hair fall, or maybe acne or acne scars, or maybe breast surgery, how to increase the breast size, or you have any specific topic like laser hair removal, or any such things, or tummy tuck, or liposuction, or nose, how to make the nose beautiful, tell me. And how to keep the body in shape after pregnancy. These are different topics, so please give your suggestions and we'll do live on those as well. We'll call other specialists also who will give you good idea about, especially male people are all these days. There is always a controversy, surgical versus non-surgical fat reduction, and also whether it is better to naturally, or how to lose weight with surgery, without surgery. So we can give you all the details about that. So here is the bowl which has so many questions. Okay. So we have to pick up one now. Can you pick one?
I'll check now. You pick up.
Okay. Who is this? It's me, Bhumi. Good. How can I get rid of shoulder acne? This is the one question she asked, and Bhumi is the lucky winner. She will get a special surprise gift from us. We will announce it. We'll directly approach you and tell you what is the gift about. Wait, I hope you are from Hyderabad, so you can come to our clinic and use that gift.
I would like to thank Dr. Preeti ma'am for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit of my knowledge with you guys, and even ma'am, and then answer a little bit of a questions what you've asked. So thanks a lot. I wish to meet you people soon again.
Yeah, we'll discuss more and more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend.
Ambrosia Cosmetic Surgery in Hyderabad. www.ambrosiaclinic.com